part of our show, we have an interview with John Elefante. He's the former lead singer of Kansas. Maybe you recognize the name. He has a new album and a song that's kind of shaking people up a little bit, especially once he released the music video. So we're going to go ahead and get that on for you now. With me on the phone now is John Elefante. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so blessed. Thank you so much. Now, most of you folks might recognize the name. He was the lead singer of Kansas for a bit, but he's really made headlines and really turned some heads with a great new song that he's released. It's kind of raised some interesting awareness. The song is called This Time. John, tell us a little bit about the background and the inspiration of this song.
Well, it wasn't something that I really set out to do before I made my new record. I had a piece of music already written and a melody already written, and I just thought this would be a perfect song to tell a story, and it was just screaming story song. So I decided to write the story of how my daughter came into the world and how she almost didn't come into the world, and it really made it a genuine thing, to me, because it is so real, and it's something that actually is based on how she did come into the world and how she almost didn't.
And your daughter's name is Sammy, and
Samantha. We call her Sammy.
Sammy, yeah. Samantha was adopted. Now, tell us a little bit about why she is adopted.
Well, her birth mother was 13.
13,
as the video depicts, and she just wasn't. She was not capable of raising a child, and she had thought seriously about aborting her. And she called her mom from the abortion clinic and told her she was pregnant. And thank God for that she chose life, and she's now 20 years old and really doing well.
What a great story too, and I really applaud that you step out and tell such a personal story from your own lives and be able to touch people in that way, because many times we tend to keep ourselves shrouded, so to speak, in secrecy of these kinds of things. I mean, folks may know she's adopted and that kind of thing. We're a little bit shy away from some of those details, or feel like we're passing judgment on others, and that's not the case at all. And I think your video really does dive into that. It really does kind of bring some of that to the surface. So let's talk about your new album. It is called On My Way to the Sun. You can get it on iTunes and, of course, John's website, johnelefante.com. Tell us a little bit about the new album, and what were some of your inspirations and things that really were on your heart here as you put this together?
It's the theme of, well, first of all, I don't know if your listeners or yourself has ever heard of a thing called Kickstarter, where your fans and supporters actually donate money. They pledge money for you to make a record, and I decided to go that route because it was successful with some other artist friends. And at first I thought, I don't want to do that, but boy, it was very rewarding. You really get up close and personal with your fan base, and you find out how much they love to support you. It's not like they're giving you, it's not like they give begrudgingly. I mean, they love it, and so it was born out of the Kickstarter thing, and we because there's really no record budgets out there these days. Record companies are just not offering any kind of budgets to make a record. So we got past that. We got the budget to make the record, and I really felt I wanted to make the best record of my career, because I felt like the fans had really hung with me and they'd supported me to make this record. And it's one of the only records I think I've ever made that I can sit back and listen to and like. Usually the ones I've made in the past, it takes me about a year for me to have some objectivity when I listen to it. It's a very vertical record. Song 1 is 11 minutes long. I mean, it's an epic classic rock sounding Kansas type song that Rich Williams from Kansas played on, and David Ragsdale. It's deep. It's definitely a deep record. It's a lot of the theme of the record is time, and just the older we get, the shorter obviously our time is, and talks a lot about how we must make every moment count, and really trying to make a mark and make a difference.
It's so true, right? I mean, God blesses us with time, treasure, and talents, and everything needs to point to Him. And actually, that
we take it for granted sometimes.
Absolutely, we do. And your first song, I think, is called "This Is How the Story Goes," and it really does sum that up. And it's a great song, great album. And if you're a Kansas fan, you're definitely going to find the roots are there. And let's go to the Kansas story a little bit, because as I researched this, what I hit on was I didn't know. I'm a fan of Kansas, but I'm not a diehard, so this is how it got by me. But I'm sure many of our listeners didn't know this. They had some issues in the band, and they had approached John about joining the band. And one of the issues I think they had was that the singer had become born again. And because of his Christianity, there may have been some rifts, some strifes, and those kinds of things. And
it was actually the guitar player, Kerry Livgren, who wrote most of the music.
Okay, all right. So
the bass player also got saved, I think, the same day.
Right. So they bring you in, not knowing that you're a Christian.
No, they didn't know, because management and it was a majority vote, and they didn't know until after they chose me to be the singer.
It's funny how God works like that, right?
Exactly. I mean, I told Kerry, I said, by the way, I mean, I really, I don't know if you knew this or not, Kerry, but I was saved in 1980, and I'm really glad to be a part of what you're doing and how you're kind of reshaping the band a bit and putting the message out there. And he was like, what? You're kidding me. I mean, he was speechless. It was unbelievable.
The irony is just oozing in history right now, folks. If you didn't know this story, for me, it was it was like a praise God moment for me, because it just really does show how much the incidents and the activities and things that we think we know and understand, and how much we don't know or don't understand sometimes. So let me go to the YouTube video, because I think this is really has kind of exploded. You've been able to get some interesting press or interviews because of this time.
Absolutely, and I have to. It's really blowing up, and you know what? I didn't plan this. I didn't sit down to write a pro-life song, even though I'm very much pro-life. I didn't sit down to write a pro-life song. I didn't sit down to write an adoption song. I didn't sit down to write an anti-abortion song. I just simply was conveying a story that was very true to my heart of how my daughter came into the world. And it wasn't until after the song was completed and mixed, and where I really sat down and listened to it, and I thought to myself, there's probably going to be some people that aren't going to like this, if they are pro-choice or whatever, and but regardless, I wanted to tell that story, and as it turns out, when the video came out, and it depicts the story visually, I mean, it really. It's very powerful.
And that's probably what ignited, I think, a lot of the response, right? When you add the visuals with the song and the music, now you're into something that's on all three different levels, and it's very, very powerful. And it really is, folks. We're going to link to it. So you'll be able to go to it from our site. We'll link to the different sources here through Amazon, as well as John's website, so you can go there. You can get the MP3s. You can download the whole album, those kinds of things, and support John. And what a great piece of work. And I'm really so glad that we were able to carve out some time and talk to you a little bit about it, promote the album, and that kind of thing. So any tour dates or anything like that, chances folks to be able to get to see you and hear you?
What? I was very busy. I was very busy this summer doing a lot of one-offs. I was gone about half the summer. It's slowed down a little bit right now, but we're gearing back up for the fall, for sure.
Well, we'll definitely have to keep our eyes and ears out for that, and if we hear anything, we'll definitely be letting you listeners know about it as well. Feel free to go there, johnelefante.com. You can definitely see this video. You can download the album and that kind of thing. John, God bless. Thank you so much for carving out time, and just continue to do what God leads you, and know it's just such a great story, because it really, just like you said, this was not intended. It's just how it manifested itself, and that's kind of how God works, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you again so much.
I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. God bless, and take care.
You too.
Back live. What a great interview. He was such a really, really easy guy to talk to. I could have talked to him for 20 more minutes. So we're going to run to a break here. We're going to catch you up when we come back with some Walking Dead.